Greetings. In this session of electronic instrumentation, we are going to learn about part of unit number 6. Unit number 6 comprises of signal analyzers, distortion analyzer, spectrum analyzers, wave analyzers, fast Fourier transform analyzer, and logic analyzer. At the end of this session, you will be able to understand concept of total harmonic distortion, that is THD measurement instrument, understand operation of distortion analyzer, differentiate between crossover distortion, phase distortion, and amplitude distortion. You will be able to interpret use of fast Fourier transform block in THD meter. You will be also able to demonstrate THD meter connection for audio amplifier block. Now let us look at the concept of total harmonic distortion. THD is an important figure of merit used to quantify the level of harmonics in voltage or current waveforms. Now the square bracket AA shows reference from which the contents are taken for study purpose. So THD is an important figure of merit and it quantifies the level of harmonics in voltage or current waveforms. We know the fundamental waveform and its harmonics. So THD is a kind of instrument. Total harmonic distortion meter is a kind of instrument that will measure the total harmonic distortion in either voltage or current. According to one definition, the harmonic content of a waveform is compared to its fundamental. So the definition is expressed in terms of mathematical form here. So THD is equal to square root of sum of in square, n goes from 2 to infinity, divided by I1, where in are either the RMS values or the amplitudes of the harmonics, whereas I1 is the RMS value of fundamental signal. It could be voltage or it could be current. So the definition is quite simple. Now this total harmonic distortion meter reads decibels or volts. Now this diagram is taken from the reference which is shown at the bottom of this particular slide. Now this was the older way of measuring THD. If you look at this diagram, there are three blocks. The signal which is rich with harmonics is connected to the block that is called as device under test, and the device under test output is connected to narrow bandpass filter, which will reject the fundamental frequency, and all the harmonics will be allowed to pass through this block, and the last block is of meter. So there are only three blocks: device under test, narrow bandpass filter, and measuring instrument, that is voltmeter. Now DUT is device under test, FFT is fast Fourier transform, math block is for computational electronic circuit. Now if you look at the new method of measurement, which involves two blocks in addition. The one is the FFT block, fast Fourier transform block, and another is the math computational block, and the last one is the measuring instrument. This is the measuring instrument. So you will find that the device under test is connected over here. For it could be, for example, audio amplifier, and its output are connected to the fast Fourier transform. We know that the fast Fourier transform analysis will represent the data frequency on x-axis and amplitude on y-axis. We have seen such kind of thing on Yokogawa DSO, right? Okay, and then from that FFT block the data goes to mathematical computation, and then one can measure the amplitude of first, second, third harmonic and so on. Now if you look at the types of distortions, there are three main types. One is called as this is crossover distortion. So what is mentioned over here is even and odd. So the harmonics could be even and odd. So you will find our crossover distortion present over here. So when the signal is passing through 0, there is some distortion. So this type of distortion is called as crossover distortion. In the transistorized circuits, this kind of distortion occurs. Now if you look at the second type of distortion, it is called as phase distortion. So there is the phase is a little bit non-linear over here. So that is why this kind of distortion is phase distortion. The third type of distortion is amplitude distortion. So wherever, here it is mentioned linear in this particular bracket. So wherever the signal tries to cross a certain amplitude level, it is clipped, right? And then this kind of distortion is called as amplitude distortion. The amplitude is limited in such kind of things. So there is crossover distortion, there is phase distortion, and there is amplitude distortion. That diagram was a much simplified diagram, and this is a more detailed diagram of total harmonic distortion meter. If you remember, we have gone through this particular diagram that we have referred from David Bell's book. There was rejection amplifier. If you remember that particular circuit, you can recall it. So you will find that this is a little bit more elaborated diagram. Now what does this have? Over here it is a function generator. So the function generator is capable of generating 20 Hz to 20 kHz sine wave, for example, which is audio range. There is a test amplifier present over here. Now there is a attenuator over here, attenuation network, which will reduce the amplitude such that that amplitude is acceptable to the next circuit. There is a impedance matching circuit. We know the importance of impedance matching, otherwise loading will occur. And then there is a preamplifier. Note that all these three stages, that is attenuation network, matching circuit, and preamplifier, are required so that the signal coming from function generator or the test signal is acceptable by the next signal conditioning circuit. Now if this circuit is there is some little bit reflection over here. So if you look at this one, so you will find that there is a Wien bridge notch filter present over here. So this Wien bridge notch filter is there, which will reject the fundamental frequency. And the next circuit is if you look at the next circuit is a kind of difference amplifier. Fine. So it will amplify, or you can treat this circuit as since there is a feedback resistance between pin number 2 and 6. This could be a kind of simple amplifier as well. Then I mean to say inverting amplifier. So then output of that particular circuit goes to the next block, that is combination of post amplification, post attenuation, and instrumentation amplifier. Now the meaning of these three blocks is that these particular three blocks are required such that the meter will read this particular data. So as per the need of the scaling input of this particular meter, this post processing is done. This is oscilloscope present over here, and you will find that there is one switch connected over here. There is a kind of connection connected over here from post amplification to pre-amplification. This kind of connection is required so that you can choose appropriate filter on both sides. For example, this frequency range is up to 20 kilohertz, isn't it? So there could be you can have a range of 10 kilohertz. The amplifier that is well capable of amplifying the signal between 20 hertz to say 10 kilohertz, and this post amplification is also applicable up to say 10 kilohertz. So in those cases, one switch will select both the frequencies simultaneously, 10 kilohertz, 10 kilohertz range. If you want to go for higher frequency range, then you can go for say 20 kilohertz and so on, like that one. So in short, the diagram is much more simplified, and one can easily understand what is a total harmonic distortion meter block using Wien bridge notch filter. After this one, let us look at the effect of harmonics on voltage measurements. So this is an old reference, but still it shows that there is important effect of harmonics which is present in the signal on voltage measurements. So if you look at the first column, it shows the input voltage characteristics. So the input voltage characteristics means it could be fundamental signal, right, and then fundamental signal of say 100 volts, then fundamental signal plus 10% of second harmonic, fundamental signal plus 20% of second harmonic, fundamental plus 50% of second harmonic, and so on. Now this is a true RMS value of fundamental signal, so 100 volts and 100 volts, and the meter indication also is 100 volts. So this is for the signal with only fundamental component. Now if there is a the fundamental signal plus 10% second harmonic, true RMS meter will show you 100.5 volt, whereas the meter normal meter indication will be 100 volts. Now the fundamental if the fundamental plus 20% second harmonic is there, then the true RMS meter will show you 110 volts, whereas the meter indication could be anything between 100 to 112 volts. THD meter, I mean to say, on this meter readings are corresponding to THD meter readings, fine. So in this way, if you look at the last range, for example fundamental plus 50% of third harmonic, then the true RMS value will show as 112, and the meter indication will be in between 90 to 116. That means that there will be considerable impact of harmonics present in the fundamental signal. Now if you look at this diagram, this is taken from one manual. The manual is the reference is mentioned elsewhere over here. The test, this shows the test setup for audio amplifier test. So this is a audio amplifier, this block is a audio amplifier. This audio amplifier is going to have some input signal, audio input signal, and some audio output coming from this one, right, and then this block is going to have input side, R input and L input, R output and L output, right, and there is some rated load present over here. The rated load could be of speaker, for example, whose resistance is 8 ohms. This is the test instrument, that is a total harmonic distortion analyzer. Now these are the connections, right? So channel there, this channels will be connected to the instrument input, and the amplifier output also will be connected to few of the channels of this total harmonic distortion analyzer. So now this is another diagram that shows Rhodes and Schwartz audio amplifier test instrument configuration parameters. Now what does this particular mean? Now this is a hardware with along with software that will create a screen with the help of which you can configure some parameters. Now if you look at this part, you will find that this is mentioned as analyzer configuration, fine. So these are combination box, or we call them as combo box. Now the instrument could be analog or digital, then you can select channel 1 and channel 2. This is coupling, type of coupling, AC coupling is there. Now look at the bandwidth, this is 22 kilohertz. For example, we are working with I mean to say that they are considering audio amplifier test, so the range is up to 22 kilohertz, fine, and the pre-filter could be kept off or on. Now the channel 1 input is balanced input, this could be balanced or unbalanced input. The scope of more depth related with unbalanced and balanced type of input is beyond the content of this session. Now the channel 1 impedance is 200 kilo ohms, channel 2 impedance is 200 kilo ohms, the connection is, it could be floating or ground connection. Here in this both the cases the connections are floating. In most of the cases the connections are floating connections. Then channel 2 range is auto selected over here, so you can choose the range of the channel 1 and channel 2 as well. Now what is mentioned over here is a reference impedance. So this reference impedance means load impedance. So you will find that this is 8.00 ohms. So this is 8 ohms is the usual audio speaker resistance. This is starting condition, auto or manual, it could be auto or manual. And then delay could be, you can choose the amount of time delay which is in seconds. Now there is one important thing to be taken into consideration why we are looking at these things. Now there is this is the reference that says that tests of audio amplifiers in accordance with the standard IEC 60263-3. Now I mean to say that the audio analyzers are in need of total harmonic distortion meters, and they are in accordance with some international standards. Now the modern analyzers, now these modern power analyzers incorporate discrete Fourier transform based algorithms as opposed to the older analog analyzers. Fine. And then this standard we have seen that IEC so and so, sound system equipment, part 5 loudspeakers and so on. So I mean to say that I just want to pull your attention that there are some standards which are associated with analyzers, signal analyzers. Now is it possible to have some simulation for total harmonic distortion measurement? Yes, it is possible. You can make use of Simulink in MATLAB. One can also make use of LabVIEW. So that is just for the sake of information that you can connect the hardware with MATLAB or LabVIEW. So we know that these are virtual instrumentation systems. Now where are these total harmonic distortion measurement meters used? So one of the major area is electric power quality analyzers. So that was all about total harmonic distortion analysis. Now we are going to look at another topic that is called as logic analyzers, and at the end of this additional small session you will be able to understand logic analyzer features. You will be able to differentiate CRO, oscilloscope, and logic analyzer. You will be able to enlist inner blocks of logic analyzer. You will be able to draw screen of a sample logic analyzer software and elaborate few terminologies like sample rate, channel selections, duration of record data, analog channel and digital channel with their voltage levels, which are user selectable levels. And you also will be able to enlist communications of logic analyzers like serial peripheral interface and inter-IC communication, and there are more communication protocols like Ethernet is there, USB is there, then controller area network is there, and so on. And you also will be able to comment on interface between logic analyzer and MATLAB connection. That is also possible. So with this one, let us move towards logic analyzers. As usual, this particular number in square bracket shows reference from where the study material is taken for our study purpose. So we know about oscilloscopes. Oscilloscopes can perform many of the functions of a logic analyzer. The analyzer is more suited to operating in digital environment because it is able to display relative timing of large number of signals. So with the help of oscilloscope, as you know that we are able to see channel 1, channel 2, isn't it, like Schmidt trigger. We observe input and output waveform. But in case of logic analyzers, the digital environment is more applicable. So a logic analyzer enables traces of logic signals to be seen in such a way that operation of several lines in a digital circuit can be monitored and investigated. Logic analyzers are widely used for testing complex digital or logic circuits. Now they appeared shortly after the first microprocessors were used, because to fault find these particular circuits required the instrument to have access to large number of lines, more than could be seen using a conventional oscilloscope. So where the oscilloscopes are not possible to be used, where there are so many number of lines where the signals need to be analyzed parallelly, in those cases logic analyzers are used. It is also possible to utilize the processing power of a computer, and PC based logic analyzers are available. However, the main drawback of the PC logic analyzers is that their functionality is not as great as the dedicated logic analyzers, which is only to be expected in view of the cost differential. So I mean to say that the dedicated logic analyzers might be costlier than the logic analyzers using PCs are there. However, the performance also will differ as per the cost. Now the logic analyzer is best when you need to debug and verify digital system operations, or you need to trace and correlate many digital signals simultaneously, as we have seen, detect and analyze timing relationships for many digital signals, trace embedded software operations. In those cases, logic analyzer is the best choice. Now look at the simplified diagrammatic representation of logic analyzer. I'm sorry. Okay, this is the reference for that one. Now if you look at the simplified block diagram, you will find that there are number of input probes, just like CRO probes. Then the probe buffer is there, or sampling circuit is there. The sampling clock will be designed by the clock select circuit, and there are clock generation circuit as well, or it is possible that external clock selection is also there. Oscillator source, so you can choose the sampling, and then the output of probe is given simultaneously to the acquisition memory. So the data at multiple lines will be stored in the memory, and further they are given for analysis and display, or maybe for recording as well. So the associated memory has memory control, and there is some triggering logic as well, because we want to see multiple waveforms at some specific time. So this is the simplified diagram of logic analyzer. Now let us look at a typical logic analyzer screen. How does exactly it looks like? Now if you look at say for example channel 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for example. So there could be more signals one can observe, and these 7 channels can be observed simultaneously, and there are some multiple settings which are possible to be changed over here. You can change the voltage levels as well, and you can choose the color of those particular symbols. Colors, you can disable the colors also. So you are able to observe what are the voltage levels at different times. This is one more additional screen of logic analyzer. So if you look at this one, this is a specific logic pro 8 type of logic analyzer. You will find that let us look at these parts first. This is estimated memory usage. This first part is the estimated memory usage. It shows that it is about 1 gigabytes. Then this second part shows speed, that is sample rate. For example, for digital signals it is 125 megasamples per second, and for analog signals it is 50 megasamples per second. There is a selection combination box also. One can change the data rate depending upon which type of module you have selected. Then you can choose the duration of the time. This is 220 milliseconds for example, which also can be changed. So you can record the data for 220 milliseconds for example. Now these are the channels. This is channel number 4, channel number 5, and this is analog signal, and this is digital signal, and then these are the contents at instances, time instances, I will say, right? So you can check what is the data at different time instances over here there. Then the voltage levels are there, for example 1.2 volts, 1.8 volts, 3.3 volts. It could be different depending upon type of module you have chosen. Then the performance is there, so the performance could be 100% or 80%, like that one, depending upon the type of module you have chosen over here. Then these are the different modules present over here: Logic 8, Logic Pro 8 and Logic Pro 16, depending upon the number of inputs, number of probes. Now the elaboration of those particular points in the upper diagram are shown over here. So you will find that estimated memory usage, this will be displayed when more than 1 GB of RAM is expected to be used by the software. Then speeds, that is sampling rate. Duration, enter the duration of your capture data. Digital channels, fourth one was digital channels. You can enable or disable the digital channels, or you can enable and disable the analog channels also. You can edit the voltage levels of the digital signals. Now the performance, this performance is not all computers or USB host controllers will be able to capture at top speed. A specific module will capture the data at top speed. The device, while no logic hardware is, 8 part was device. While no logic hardware is connected, you can select the device to simulate as well. So simulation option also comes along with the hardware and software. Now let us talk about how the device can communicate, in which way the device can communicate. The device can communicate with serial peripheral interface, it is SPI. It is inter IC communication, IC communication is also possible. That is bit by bit data will be transferred from one instrument to the other instrument. And before some time we discussed that apart from this SPI and I2C communication, USB communication is also possible, controller area network is also possible, and so on. Then it is possible to connect a typical logic analyzer with MATLAB as well. This is a specific, this is how logic analyzer looks like. Now you can see the video demonstration of THD meter. This is the old type of THD meter, but still it will tell you how to use that particular instrument. So that's all. So in today's session we have learned total harmonic distortion meter and we have learned logic analyzer. Thank you very much.